Hey, how's it going, boys? What is up? Sora's back once again for another character impression, and this time we finally have Reinhardtzar. I'm just gonna call him Reinhard, okay? Yeah, we have a huge thunderstorm happening in the background. That's why I'm probably gonna try and speed this shit up. So yeah. Anyway, we finally got him. He's our brand new Lakefest Grand character. We've been asking for him for fucking years now, but he finally got it. After keeping his best buddy Kane on hold for so fucking long, we finally got him. So anyway, his fire, he has 1360 HP, he has 10,800 attack. His attack-based character is a Fist for obvious reason. He's a Doraf. And his Ogi is Infernal Ignition. Massive fire damage to a foe. Next Cloak of Flame affects all allies. -1 turn cut to Cloak of Flame's cooldown. Prominence Palm. Fire damage to all foes, hit to attack and defense. Boost to specs based on number of melee specialty main allies. It lasts to either 5 to 8 turns. Cloak of Flame. Dodge tank and counter effect 2 hits. Drain effect. 8 turns cooldown. Probably is gonna get reduced though, but yeah, because you can also reduce this too. I think it's gonna be like 7 turns or some shit, but you being able to reduce it 1 turn at a time every time he Ogis is pretty cool though. He can dodge and tank counter, so that's nice. Alright, so third skill is Reki Unleash. Substitute effect. Can attack. Undying effect. After 3 turns, fire damage to random foes based on the number of hits taken. Interesting. Passive is Soul Flare, 5% boost to Reinhardt. Charge bar when a fire ally counters. Wow, okay. Self-determination, boost to melee specialty allies' multi-attack. And amplify normal attack damage. Yo, Fist of Destruction. Alright, you're a grand weapon, right? So this looks like a Benedia. EMP. It's kind of like whatever, I guess. Feels pretty standard for him. You just go skill cap, crit, Ogi, and whatever. You can just make do with whatever for the rest. You don't really have to bother with attack. I guess if you want, you can, but I don't think you need to. You can technically just go for defense, because I honestly kind of feel like defense might be better for him compared to needing attack. I mean, he has already a fuck ton of attack stats though. And not to mention, now we have the whole awakening thing happening right now, right? So technically, you don't even need that much attack stats. So I think it's a lot better for you to just try to contribute to his defenses instead, because he's gonna take a lot of hits anyway because of his S3 and shit like that. Yeah, his EMP is pretty straightforward though. Like, you just go with the crits, the skill cap. You want to go like maybe 1 or 2 whatever points on CA damage, but the rest I feel like it's better to put defense. Yes, you definitely want to put defense more than ever. I feel like he doesn't really need the attack at all, because he gets a lot of attack anyway. You don't really need too many of those either way. Yeah, you just go with attack and call it a day or some shit. Alright, so in short, more like, well, conclusion, to put it simply, he's situational, man. He is 100% situational, man. Easily super situational kind of character. But I think once you have that setup, like having Frau, I don't know, like fucking like Mugen and all that shit, like what's her name, even Anira works too, like all the characters that uses like has fist proficiency and shit like that. When you have that shit, right, I think this guy can really like fucking, you know, he can really bring down the rain. Alright, I'm not doing that again, I'm sorry. But yeah, either way though, it's like if you have that setup, because he's a character that heavily emphasizes on being a lot of, if you're compiling a whole team full of just melee specialty characters, it's really good though, because he amplifies that damage as well. Wait, actually I'm not even sure if that actually even amplifies everyone, but or only boosts or only melee specialty. I'm assuming it's just melee specialty characters, but like getting their extra multi attack and shit, and then he also have like that kind of setup where if you actually emphasize a lot of counters. Honestly, I think this is kind of like whatever though. Doesn't really. I feel like this is not really too important, I would say. It's just really, really good to put him together with Frau. Because I think Frau really makes him really strong. And not to mention he has extra debuffs. Local debuffs, which also helps when if you're using Frau. Isn't it? Because this is local, right? Yeah. So this helps as well. Because this lasts for 8 turns, right? The most. Or 5 turns the least. And she can extend local debuffs? She extends local debuffs by 1 turn. So that helps. Yeah, I just double checked. She's not really a counter character, but she kind of helps, and she also allows like a crap ton of nukes. But yeah, the main reason why I say that is because Frau is very heavily reliant on skill damage as well, and from what I can see on Reinhardt as well is that if you're using a character that emphasizes a lot of skill damage, it will make him even stronger too. Because if you're actually making use of this, and also you can just mash this, and then you just use this, because this you can pretty much somewhat he allows himself, or maybe some other characters that gives a lot of meter or some shit that allows him to Ogi often, whatever. But like it allows him to consistently reduce the cooldown of his Cloak of Flame thing, which also pretty much reduces the downtime of this. So pretty much you can kind of like keep spamming that shit over and over again, right? So it emphasizes that whole what's that word, that synergy. Yes, thank you. Yes, synergy. I was like looking for that. Okay, thank you. Yes, it's like good synergy because of that. Because he, like I said, he emphasized a lot on Ogi damage and shit. Not Ogi damage, skill damage, because of his current skill set. So you have that nice synergy between him and Frau, because Frau is heavily reliant on skill damage. So you just do way more damage that way. So if you're actually if you have Frau, then I guess that's cool. But if you don't, that's fine. You can go for other setups. Having Mugen is actually pretty damn good as well, because Mugen is, I mean, it's, do you really need me to explain how Mugen works? I mean, he is like a full-blown fucking Pepega guy, right? You don't even need 200 IQ to know how the fuck he works, right? So you don't. It's just a very straightforward guy. He hits fucking hard. End of story, right? That's what he does. Plus, not to mention, he can buffs. He also allows like pretty good buffs to the entire party. That is, unless you decided to activate his passive, then he go fucking full blown Pepega and shit. Then yeah, then maybe that he's only buffing himself. But either way, his buff is pretty good because it buffs everyone, and that buff is also like a very unique buff towards the entire party and shit like that. Plus, he's a fist user, so yeah, very good synergy with him. And also, not to mention, if you are also, not to mention if you decided to spark Anira, then I guess she also works with him, I guess, because her buff is pretty nice. If you're using Magna, if you're going with the whole AES setup and shit, she helps even more because her buffs is normal modifier, so it rather helps, and then she can also heal if required. The stamina is kind of like whatever though, but yeah, free debuffs for the whole. She has like one of the best debuffs in the game anyway because of S1 and shit, and she gets echo, blah blah blah, all that shit. So either way, she really helps, and not to mention she also, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? You know how Anira works. So either way, like I said, this guy is really good. Only if you have that specific setup though. If you don't have that setup, I really think it's kind of hard to actually make use of this guy. He really only shines in fist setups, like using like a fucking Ultima Fist, or using like fucking, or I don't know, like some, like whatever restless setup you want to go with, or some shit like that. Basically, just use a fist setup to go with this guy, because technically, I mean, it's not just Mugen, it's not just fucking Frau or like Anira. There's probably other characters you can still make use of, And not to mention, you can also use like you don't really have to actually just use Fist characters. You can potentially just maybe just slot in one other character to, you know, emphasize the lack of what's that? Maybe the lack of buffs. If you're lacking on the buffs or whatever, just bring one character that just gives you extra buffs or whatever, you know, that kind of situation. You can actually still do that. I don't think that's a bad idea, but honestly, it does look pretty cool. But at the same time, I feel like he might not really be that great for Guild War, but at the same time, I think you can kind of make him work either way. Because the reason why I say that is because most of the time in Guild War, you would definitely want to use a certain old man invoker, right? He's not a Fist user, unfortunately. So yeah, he's a staff character, unfortunately, but you can technically still also use him regardless, but at the same time, you can also just use other characters that just emphasize on counter or whatever shit. You can probably just do that either way. It's honestly up to you. The only thing I would really say is that once you get that, I mean, to summarize everything I just said, if you can just find that sick full Fist setup with him, and then you have like your Opus and you have like your fucking Ultima and shit, you have like crazy amount of cap, having his shit in there as well, and you just see shit blow up. You can definitely see the using MC Wrestler and stuff. I can definitely see that happening though, that's for sure. He's pretty cool when you have this. That is loud as fuck. But yeah, to put it simply, he's actually pretty damn good if you have that setup. If not, he's a little bit mediocre in that sense. I can probably see why people actually don't really like how he turned out to be, but honestly, I think it's fine to me. Because we all know, like, a lot of people tends to prefer, like, okay, I just want like I just want that one character I can slot in everything kind of shit. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people want that shit, but honestly, I think it's okay. But yeah, either way, I just find him like he the way he works was pretty damn cool, because it's like we don't really see a lot of these characters appearing from time to time. We have seen way too much characters appearing and becoming like the likes of Shalim or some shit like that, because that kind of character is just fucking bullshit. That kind of character is just so damn dumb. It just makes you go fucking and shit like that. You can just use it and just go and go Pepega and shit. Like, goddamn, man. Because I kind of want to see more characters that are more like specialty based, and then once they go into like specialty based, the setup just fucking shines, right? I want to see shit like that. You know, when it comes to like in specific setups, the character really just blows out of control and shit. I feel like Reinhardt has that potential, because who knows, we might actually have more characters that has, you know, fist proficiency and I don't know, maybe even bigger crazy amount of skill set or some shit, right? Because it builds that potential in future. Because we might not actually see it right now, like on the time when he got released, right? But maybe moving on as time goes on, as when Cygames decided to release more characters for Fire and shit that has all this kind of stuff, it'll be a lot better that way, right? Because you never know. Because this literally happened for example, what was it? The Fire Proving Grounds. That was like the clear example. When it first released the Proving Grounds, right? That the Ushua Mongol weapon, whatever that sword is. When it was first released, that sword was actual shit. Nobody thought that will become a very good ass fucking sword. Nobody thought that was the case. Everyone thought it was fucking dog shit. Because nobody was, or more like Fire was not really focused on skill damage or skill cap or whatever shit at that time. But look at how Fire turned out to be, right? That's the thing I was trying to say for this guy. Because I feel like this guy has that potential. It could actually potentially just bring up Fire in like a whole different aspect in future, instead of relying on the stupid fucking Alanan bullshit, right? Because that's what we always tend to see for Fire in the first place. That's why I kind of want to see things differently. That's why I feel Reinhardt is a pretty cool character in that sense. But probably not a lot of people may actually consider the same way as I thought, but yeah. But yeah, that's how I feel about this character. I do feel like he's a pretty cool character, but in current situation, he is not really like superly like good in terms of tier because he's very very situational. But like I said, once you get into that specific situation that you can emphasize this guy, he can be really really strong. So if you already have that, sure, great, go ahead, man. I'm pretty sure he's gonna do relatively well for you. I'm probably wanting to see how he fares out too, like, in maybe in FA or whatever. That'll be kind of interesting though, because his S3 is gonna always get 10 hits no matter what. But yeah, either way, I like him. I like how he actually looks like right now. For all I know, maybe they're gonna maybe even rebalance him or some shit if they actually think that nobody's using him or whatever, right? Who knows? But we'll see. All we now know is that he's pretty cool. We just have to wait and see what Fire, or more like what side games is gonna bring towards the table for Fire in future. Because I really think Fire is gonna be really really strong again. Then again, if you all know that Fire's burst is just insanely strong in the first place, I think Fire still has like one of the strongest bursts in the game right now, like in the initial turns kind of shit. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I can say about Reinhardt. He looks pretty cool. I like his portrait. He's a badass character. I actually really wanted to see him much earlier, but at least he's finally out today. At least he's finally out. I've been waiting for way too fucking long for this guy. But yeah, that's all I can say about him. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Make sure hit the... For some reason, I keep clicking outside the window so you guys can hear the music, but I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I do apologize. This video, this few couple of videos is gonna be pega as shit because of Zuskun and Rain and all that stuff happening in the background. But yeah, it's gonna be weird. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Yes, comment, like, whatever. You know the drill.